Ole, mate, rejuvenate himself at United, or is it false dawn? Does he still?
I'm not
Do you
sure
still
it's
give him the
either. I
keys?
still think he's got, they're winning again. They're doing well. They're turning up and playing well against the big sides. But it's until they face the little ones, that's when they've struggled. So, the sides they don't get up for, if you see what I mean, are teams like Burnley and that. They've never struggled to get up
Mate,
against the big
they
six.
bullied. They bullied City yesterday. It was as if they were the home team. I mean, does that suit their style, the counter-attacking
Yeah,
style,
they definitely
or
they're much better at counter, and that's the problem. That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
That's why they do so well against the big sides that go and attack them because they can get space
right,
in behind. The problem
yeah,
is the
yeah.
ones they struggle against are the ones that don't.
Burn,
And
burn Newcastle at home or whatever. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, what what's the future hold here for Ole? That he's clearly gonna. I think he's got the job till the end of the season, pretty much.
I think he'll last until it gets really bad. And unless it gets really bad, I think they'll just persevere with him because he's Ole.
Yeah, and I think he's the last two results have
The problem is
Tottenham
they've lowered
and City.
expectations so much. They're happy to accept the odd good win rather than looking at
Yeah,
challenging. They're no longer. They're not even looking at challenging for the title, or they're looking at challenging for top four. That's how low their sights have got.
right.
So
Yeah, but
and they'll keep saying
that's understandable.
oh well, he's using kids. He's only got kids. They're only, yeah, but you're still spending 100 million quid each summer. No, well, surely I
I
don't care
mean,
if they're only using kids. If he's spending that kind of money, they should be doing better, in my opinion.
I, the vision for me for United is that they keep him till the end of the sun. I think this is what happened. They'll keep him till the summer. They'll give him some money to spend, and they'll go from there. I don't think they'll get rid of him
No, I don't. I
because,
think
as
he'll
you said,
stay. But I mean, when you buy you spend a world record fee on a defender. He should make a difference to your defence. Do you think Harry Maguire's made a difference to their defence?
no, I
No,
don't. I think
he's
he's.
terrible.
It, but was that an Ole signing? Was that he? Did he
Yeah, well, the
ask
whole
for
club wanted
Maguire?
him.
Right.
I
I don't
still
think he's.
don't get the big deal about him. I never have, as you know, and I just don't
I,
understand why they chose him. I don't understand why they went for him.
I think Lindelof is the better player, to be honest. Now, and he was a third of the price, nearly at 30 million or whatever it was. Um, I think that he's had a lot of injuries as well. There's a lot of injuries to contend with. I'll give him that. And
Yeah, but every team can say that. It's what I don't get when we hear all this. Liverpool had Alisson out. Everyone told us he was the key to us challenging last season, but he was out for all these games and we won him.
yeah,
So and Fabinho's out now. He's supposed to be key, but we're looking even better. I mean, there's Man City have had half their team out, and they're still competing at the top end.
I still don't feel he's had long. I still don't feel Ole's had a long to make a final judgment on him. And I think this season will go towards understanding him a bit more, and making that. I honestly feel that
I just think
they'll give him.
he just his past record shows he's not that special. He's just not the right fit. They should have been looking for somebody who is the right fit. See, they
But
should have
then,
got Kike Setien or someone like that.
but when the thing is, he has a stay of execution because when you put performances like that against your bitter rivals, that gives you a month at least,
But it shouldn't work
and
like
that
that.
gives
It should be a long-term view that, like, this team can only perform against teams that come out and attack. And Man United aren't supposed to be a counter-attacking side. They're supposed to be a team that
yeah,
takes the game to other teams and wins.
yeah. I don't think the thinking of the club is to get rid of. I think the club
No,
think
they're happy with him.
thinking of the club. Yeah, I think the thinking of the club is to
The
keep
fans
him.
are behind him. Why would you get rid of him?
Yeah. Are they really behind him?
Yeah, they love. He's
didn't know that.
Ole. Most of them still love him. And then he pulls out a result like that, and of course, even the ones that are turning against him suddenly, well, he's got a result like that. How could we want rid?
Yeah, but let's face it. Let's be honest, right? I mean, he's had his detractors. That was a performance and a half, yes.
But but that's like I said, it's a team that was suited to them.
Yeah.
They should be able to beat teams who you're not suited to playing against when you're a team like Man United and you put a world record fee on a defender. You should expect more from a team than being really poor defensively. They got more points last season under Jose. Before that game I'm talking about, they had more points, but they were 2 places lower in the league under Jose, but they got more points.
Gotcha.
So, it's sometimes it feels like they're doing better, but are they actually achieving more, or just the league's a bit weaker this season?
Yeah, they're around par maybe. All right, mate. Let's talk about Gareth Bale and that the banner. I thought it was funny but disrespectful. I don't know what you thought.
Well, if I was a Madrid fan, I wouldn't be happy.
I don't think he needed to.
But that's just because I hate Madrid, so I'd be very miserable if I was a Madrid fan.
I just thought that was a kick in the balls. I thought that was a low blow, to be honest with you.
But I understand why he's done it, because it's a song. That's what the Welsh fans sing to him, yeah. They sing Wales, Golf, Real Madrid in that order to him. That's the song, the chant they sing about him.
Right, I didn't know that, but still,
why do you think somebody had the banner? That's why the banner was made. It's been something that's been sung for a while.
Mate, international football is not my thing. It's not my...
No, I know, but I tend to look out for the Welsh. Because my uncle's best mate was Gary Speed, so I've kept an eye on them since then, you know?
Oh, fair enough, mate.
So.
Fair enough. But I just think that football chant or no football chant, if somebody's paying you £500,000 a week, you don't kick them in the balls. You don't kick them in the balls like that.
Yeah, that was a mistake. That was a big mistake. But now and now he's complaining because they're booing him. I mean, what do you expect, lad? You must have known what was going to happen.
Did he come out and apologise and said, "Oh look, I messed up here"? Or
no, he's not apologised.
That's just,
his agent has come out and said he's not ecstatic about being at Real Madrid at the moment. It's like, well, not being funny. They're paying you $500,000 a week. You should be bloody over the moon. I would be. They can boo me all they want for $500,000 a week.
It beggars belief the conceited attitude some of these players have. I mean, they are so entitled. It makes me laugh. You can't do anything but laugh. I mean, £500,000 a week, and you're not ecstatic about being there. I mean, how can you put out a statement like that?
Well, his agent's a dick, any. Let's be honest.
So. All right, mate. Let's moving on. Let's talk about the Premiership CEO getting fired before he.
No, he didn't get fired. He quit.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Of course they didn't fire him. Bruce Buck even came out and said the reason he was so good for the job was because of his personal integrity.
And he got fired for sending
that was
text messages.
That was like a month before. That's what they said when they chose him in October. Then in November, he's getting fired. He's quitting because he's got caught being a sex pest. It's like, oh, you couldn't make that up. Or maybe that's what they meant by personal integrity, making him perfect for the role of CEO. Because he's got none. That makes him perfect for the role of CEO of the Greedies Good League.
He is the perfect role model for our footballer.
Exactly. A sex pest. If only he'd drunk and drive and, crashed into one of his mates' cars, he'd be getting a double, he'd be getting an extra long contract.
The irony, eh? Did you read the text messages between him and this lady?
No, I didn't read it. I assume they were just like the kind of thing you send me all the time, so I didn't see the point in reading them.
My text messages to you have a lot more romance, by the way. Just saying.
I doubt it.
Mate,
You're not exactly a poet, mate. Let's be honest.
Mate, I put a lot of thought and effort into those texts.
It doesn't show. Trust me.
He was so trying to get.
All I'm going to say is, when you've seen one penis pic, you've seen them all. It doesn't matter what kind of mask you put on it or whatever. It's still a penis pic. Thank you. I've had enough.
Mate, the only penis pics I send you are pictures of you. So take that.
Just say you could have just you could just take a picture of your face. It'd be the same thing.
I just said the same thing as you just said before you. So you need to work.
I said it better.
No, but you need to work on your banter, mate.
You're just ripping off me up here, aren't you?
How am I ripping it off when I say it first?
Exactly, because you knew what I was going to say.
Oh, I'm a mind reader now. That's what you're saying.
Well, no, because you'd have to have a mind in the first place to read.
That makes me extra special then.
You're certainly special, mate.
Let's talk about Man City and their £500,000 investment and added another club to their portfolio.
Yeah, Mumbai City of the ISL.
Unbelievable, eh?
Yeah, it's number 8.
They're a juggernaut, aren't they? They're just taking over the footballing world. They still can't win the European Cup, though. And they still need a bit of false accounting to up their income, for FFP reasons. Oh, not that they did that, of course. We all know that they were falsely accused of it because there's no proof. Actually, the only reason they're going to get away with it is because the proof was illegally obtained. Is the truth of it. Let's be honest. I think this is a good point to mention Chelsea and Chelsea being aggrieved at their transfer ban.
Good thinking.
Discuss Batman.
Yeah, because they got banned, but the same problem as crime. That's the word. Yeah, as Man City did, but Man City didn't get a fine. Odd that, isn't it? Wonder why. But this is Man City taking over football. They are just so above and beyond everyone else at the moment financially, apart from PSG, clearly, who are, I think they're Qatari as well, aren't they? What? The PSG, yeah, they're Qatari, but what's that got to do with? Yeah. No, but it's just the money just absolutely taking over football. You do realise Qatar and Abu Dhabi's a different place, right? Yeah, but it's the same region, isn't it? It's not really. They don't. Well, let's just say they're not exactly on friendly terms, though. Same region, though. Still, it's not like you're saying they're mates or anything, and they're working together, sort of thing. It's still oil money, right? To a degree, yeah. There you go, I love that. So, the Qatari certainly is. Absolutely. I mean, how do you see? Is this the future of football that clubs are going to have feeder clubs and own other clubs? Yeah, or sadly, this is just unique. Liverpool are even looking into it now. We had the discussion, remember? So, what's the? I know the obvious advantage is players. Well, you can move players around for and hide money. Yeah. This is the thing. Money. You've got to go look at what happened with Watford, Udinese, and Granada. This is why it shouldn't be allowed. They should be allowed one club and one club only. End of. Shouldn't be allowed to do all this. Because what happened with Watford, Udinese, and Granada was when somebody bought Granada, they suddenly found none of the players belonged to them. They're all on loan from Watford and Udinese. Granada didn't have a single bloody player on its books. Right. And there was a lot of false accounting had gone on, you know what I mean, hidden trails, because these players that were supposed to be on their books, and then they investigate and find they're just on loan. Right. And they had no... This is why Tony Adams had to step in and do you remember he took charge and all that? He was manager of Granada, wasn't he? Yeah, he was only on an interim basis. He was just trying to rescue them because they were in real trouble because they literally didn't have a player there. Yeah. He had
Right.
to, they had to sort
yeah.
it out. It was an absolute mess. It was a shambles. He's done really well, actually. Now, if you look at them now, because he's obviously not managing it now. He's just
Yeah.
stepped back and he's working behind the scenes again. But they're doing really well now, thanks to the work they've done there. But they were an utter shambles, and they could have gone out of business because of the way they'd been left. And that was all because Udinese and Watford were just using it basically as a way to siphon off money for Watford, to help them get better players without breaching FFP rules.
And Red Bull have been doing the same thing as well.
Red Bull, they do it with Salzburg and Leipzig. They just shift players between them. But of course, they're not connected at all. That's why they can compete in the same European competitions, remember? Because there's no connection whatsoever between them, according to UEFA.
Zero connection.
Because we all believe that, don't we?
What are Liverpool looking to do in this regard?
Buy up play. It's pretty much the same as City Group have done, where they just buy other teams, in other leagues.
I'm sure that we'd be looking to go into the American leagues, no doubt.
Yeah, but I mean, basically similar thing to what City done, but mostly it's China, India, things like that. The big markets out there.
Right.
Was the first shot. I mean, I'm sure the MLS would be on there anyway, because FSG will surely want to get involved there anyway if they can.
Just makes sense. Yeah, it's just prudent. All right, mate. Let's talk about Zlatan's statue being vandalised.
I wasn't sure which bit you were going to talk about Zlatan. I wasn't sure if you were going to have about his dig at Ronaldo.
Oh, I didn't know about that. What did he say?
Well, he keeps having pops at him, doesn't he? But this time it was somebody asked him about, going to, would he be going to AC Milan to go match up against Ronaldo, see who's the best, sort of thing, to him. And he said the real Ronaldo or something, somebody said. And he turned around and said, he's not the real Ronaldo. The real Ronaldo was Brazilian. He's got what's something about him having no balls or something. That's why he went to Juventus, where they always win anyway. Otherwise, he'd have chosen a smaller club or something. He said.
Oh, I didn't. Have they had beef in the past?
Yeah, they've been having beef since they played Portugal against Sweden in a. Was it a World Cup qualifier? I can't remember. They faced each other in a qualifying playoff or something. In international football, and they've been at each other. Zlatan's been at him ever since. I don't think Ronaldo's that bothered.
Yeah.
I don't think he notices. He's too busy winning. He's too busy winning things to care what Zlatan says out in America. You know what I mean?
Tell me about the statue that got vandalised.
Well,
Zlatan's
the thing is, he's obviously he's a hero. Was a hero at Malmo, because that's where he started his career now. And they got this massive 3.5-foot bronze statue of him outside. Their main rivals are a club called Hammarby. Now, Zlatan bought into AEG, Anschluss Entertainment Group, who own LA Galaxy, who obviously he was playing for in the MLS. So he bought into this AEG. They also own part of Hammarby, who are Malmo's rivals. They also own them. So he didn't really buy it for Hammarby. But rather than just admitting that, obviously he thought, can't really say that, can he? I've just bought the part of the club. So he can't really turn around and say, well, actually, I didn't really want these. I was only buying into LA Galaxy, really. But yeah, he turned round and said stuff like, I've always really liked Hammarby. They've got great fans and stuff like that. I've always had a soft spot for them and all that. So obviously the Malmo fans have heard this and gone, you miserable bastard. How could you say that about our rivals? It'd be like Rafa taking over Everton and saying, I've always loved Everton. You'd be like, yeah, I can't say that. You know what I mean? It's that you just can't say that. So they put bag over the head of the statue, spray painted it. They've hung a toilet. They put a toilet seat on his head, and they just keep vandalising it. The toilet seat. It's been hung on his arm, on his head, round his neck. They just keep putting it back.
Wow, has he come out and said anything or made any statement? Or...
Not that I've heard. I haven't heard anything he said, so I don't know. Maybe he's just realised sometimes it's best to say nothing, isn't it? Let it simmer, let it die down. I don't know, because do you remember when Courtois joined Real Madrid?
Yeah.
Well, Atletico Madrid have this walk on to their new ground. They have this walk, and every step has, every so often they have like it's not a star, it's like a brick with a former player, one of their favourite players, like one of their heroes. Like, on one of them was Courtois when he joined Madrid. It's been vandalised virtually every single game ever since. It gets vandalised because they hate him now.
Yeah. I didn't know that one, mate. Right, let's get on to Zamalek refusing to play in Qatar as it's not in Africa. Geopolitics going on there.
It's not just because it's not in Africa. I mean, they've said, why should we play there when it's in Asia when it's an African Super Cup? Fair enough. I mean, the Spanish don't moan about where they play their Super Cup. They play it all over the place now, but right. they're saying, it's the Confederation of African Football. We should be playing it in Africa. Yeah. I get that, but the other thing they said is the reason why they're refusing to go there is because they said Qatar is an enemy of Egypt.
Right.
And they've also said they're very disappointed in, is it Esperance, the other team that's in it? I think it's Esperance. Should know. They're playing in the Club World Cup, so it must be Esperance of Tunisia, because they've said they will play.
Oh, I see what you mean. They wanted some solidarity.
Yeah, they said we shouldn't be playing it in, basically they're saying we shouldn't be playing it in Asia because the fans should get to see it.
Gotcha. A fair point.
Yeah, because I mean, it shouldn't be playing. It's ridiculous. How can it be an African Super Cup when you're playing in it? I mean, that makes no sense. It's a bit like this stupid Premier League 39th game thing. I mean, it's just nonsense.
In America, yeah, it's silly. I've never been one for that. No, they make a salient point, and for their sakes, I hope no fan wants to go to another country to watch a league game or a game.
No, I mean, they say it's so they fans could get to see them. Let's be honest, it's not. It's so they can make more money. But the thing is, it stops being aspirational if you take it out of your country.
Of course. It makes a nonsense.
I mean, the Premier League, most of it's, there's a huge amount of fans and are paying a lot of money to go on. A lot of fans complain about the day trippers, but they pay a lot of money and they spend a lot of money to go along and watch the team play at its home stadium. Why would they bother doing that if they were playing in France or wherever, you know what I mean, wherever they are, or Australia or whatever? Why bother spending the money to go on this day trip where they spend a huge amount of money on merchandising and all that? Because they can just watch it in their own. I mean, they just don't seem to get it when they want to do the ruling part. They just seem to think it about quick bucks rather than the long-term solidity of a league.
Unfortunately, this is the way it's going now. It's all going to be. Most of it is financially motivated, and it's a business.
But it's all about quick money, rather than
it's all about instant money rather than a long-term plan. Yeah, I get you. I hope. It really is. All right, mate. I wanted to talk to you about Faustino Asprilla, the Hitman, and Hernan Crespo.
Which one? Yeah, they both fired blanks.
Carry it on for me.
Oh, right. Well, which one do I start with? Well, he's decided anyway. He's come out of his his partying lifestyle long enough to actually sit down and chat to. I think it was Valderrama, isn't it? He's been talking to
the goalkeeper.
No, not the goalkeeper. The big frizzy-haired guy, wasn't it? Isn't it Valderrama he's been talking to?
That was the goalkeeper, wasn't it? The one with the scorpion kick.
No, that's Higuita.
That's Higuita, René Higuita, that's who it was.
Carlos Valderrama was the midfielder, the playmaker.
Midfielder, that's it, that's it.
Oh, he was a fantastic player, real glided around the pitch. And anyway, he's been talking to him, and he's, first off, he told the story.
Asprilla's been talking to Valderrama, correct?
Yeah, Tino Asprilla. So first off, he was talking about, having to stop a hitman killing the Paraguayan keeper. What was his name?
Oh, the one that takes a penalty.
Yeah, because did he save a penalty or something from, and nearly cost and put Colombia out in match or something. I can't remember the exact story on that one. And he claimed he stopped the hit ban. Like, yeah, I mean, why would the hitman be telling him he's going to shoot somebody? I mean, there's with the spree, he spent so much time on getting high and drunk and that you don't know what's real and what isn't. But the Crespo one is the one that's better. He moved to Newcastle. I think everyone remembers that because a lot of people blame that for them losing the league that year. Because he moved mid-season. He moved to Newcastle mid-season.
Yeah.
They brought in Hernan Crespo to replace him.
Right.
Hernan Crespo's playing, but he's struggling really badly, not scoring. And Faustino Asprilla takes it on himself. He's got a day off from Newcastle or two. So he pops over to, is it Sampdoria he came from?
Right. Yeah.
He pops over there. Speaks to Crespo, finds out he's not, his girlfriend and that are still back in Argentina. So he hooks him up with a bird he knows in town, and lets him so he can score, and then he gets scoring again apparently. So apparently the scoring on the pitch is linked to how much you score off the pitch as well for the striker, according to Atino Asprilla.
Asprilla's. He's an absolute, and I've been to Colombia
he's
a few
mental.
times. He's a legend, and they love him in Colombia.
Oh, he's
absolutely
mental.
love him, and he's a proper superstar there now. He did porn. He did. He's an absolute.
Didn't he do Celebrity Big Brother and all sorts? He's done, hasn't he?
He did. He's done every. I mean, he's an absolute star there. They love him out there. Colombia.
It's absolute nutcase, but he was brilliant footballer.
Brilliant, and he's great for a story as well. I love him. I think he's brilliant. I think he's definitely entertainment. He is box office. He is, and he's 50 something now, and he's still a legend in Colombia.
And he's still partying.
Good for him, mate.
Got horse. He's got a horse farm or something he lives on.
Mate, you want to see his physique. He's like 57 or 58, and he's like ripped to pieces. Still.
Is he? Last time I saw him, he'd put on a lot of weight. From the party and, put on a lot of weight where he'd gone.
Mate, he's still great physique. Still got a great physique. All right, mate. Let's talk about Mike Riley and him saying a few weeks back that VAR had only made 4 mistakes.
Yeah, well, what's with the number 4? I mean, that's the second time, because after the first few games, they'd said it had only made 4 mistakes as well, when we all know it had made hundreds by that point. And it's,
400, yeah.
I mean, I don't understand. What is there an obsession with 4? Is that like they've decided that that's a number that's not going to look too bad, but like also admit we're not, we know it's not perfect? I mean, what's with 4? It makes no sense.
I think they lost a 0, mate, to be honest with you.
I don't know, it bears no relation to reality. The other guy who came out, who's the other head of it, the other guy involved in running VAR, had said like a few weeks before that he gives it like a 7.5 out of 10 or something, didn't he? Or is it an 8.5 or something like that?
They're not going to turn around and say, look, you know what, this isn't working. We've really, really messed this up.
But even Wenger said what did the first thing Wenger do when he got into this FIFA role?
He wanted the touch side TVs to be used.
Yeah, because he knows it's not working.
To be fair, you've been saying for a long, long time to do it.
I'm not the only one. I mean, it's obvious. It's like, surely the referee's in charge. He should be making a decision, not abdicating it to somebody in a TV studio.
What's Wenger's new role?
I mean, if they technical director or something. But I mean, what
is that symbolic?
No, he's got
symbolic, or has he got some?
I think he's got some power to develop coaching and stuff. But I mean, he's obviously got no power over the Premier League.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, the thing I don't get with this not using. if they're taking so long. One of the things they say they didn't want to use it for is because they thought it might take so long. But a lot of these decisions are taking forever. If it's a decision, they look at it and they can't go snap like that, make a decision. Surely they should be saying, "You go and have a look straight away," rather than messing about with it. Then if he, then he can decide. Rather than if it's taken a while, sit there and keep looking at it again and let's have another look. Let's just try a different. You know what I mean? If it's not clear and obvious straight away, they look at it and go, "Yeah, he's got it wrong," or "Yeah, he's got that right." You know, when it's one of those where they're looking at it, going, "Oh, I'm not sure. We're gonna have another look." You know, these ones that are taking like 3 minutes for a decision to come across. Just tell the referee to go and have a look. It's not going to take any longer for him to run over to a monitor. What's that going to take? 10 seconds. Him to have a quick look. And if he's not seeing it, if he's not, not going to change his mind on a quick look, just get on with the game. I mean, what's the need for this 3 minutes that some of these decisions are taking? I'd rather they got it wrong than get it right if it takes that long,
Yeah, because there's a lot of stoppage time now, isn't there? I mean, because of this unnecessary stoppage time as well.
And it's just boring as well, waiting for it's just like, when you're waiting for it and it's...
And what's ridiculous is the players celebrating twice. They
sometimes they're not even celebrating, are they? Because they're just like, they're waiting, is it counting or not? And then when it does count, it's like, oh, okay, thanks. But, you've lost it. It's gone, hasn't it? The moment's over. It's difficult.
Would you do away with VAR and just go back to we had the referee making decision? And I don't think we should go back to that because there's so many mistakes being made. But at least this way, you're at least this way the mistakes are. They should be minimal, but they're not. But what I'm saying is, at least you're eradicating illegal goals.
You've got to keep it, even though it's been a mess. It's just the way it's been implemented, and in a given time, they should iron these difficulties out. The problem was they just introduced it too soon. They weren't ready. But like I said, for me, the first thing I'd do is I'd change it so the referee goes over and makes a decision. If the decision isn't obvious and clear on a first viewing, if they look at it and they look at 3 angles of it on their, because I'm not saying like first viewing is in like the first time you look at it on the normal speed. I mean, when you've looked at it, from a couple of angles and you're not sure, so you're going to want to look at a couple more angles. Rather than them doing that, the referee should be called over and told to go and have a look. That way, everybody knows that this is a difficult decision and they know who's in charge. Because now people are like, well, who's making the decision? And at least the referee knows how the game's playing. He's in the middle of it. He knows if a player's being given it in his ear and is really getting pissed off, and so might have gone in there to hurt someone. He's a better judge of the character of the players he's working with because he knows how they're feeling and whether they've snapped. He might have a better idea. Say if it's a red card offence, for instance, he's there. Yeah. He's surely got a better feel of how the game's being played to know whether that's something that, when he looks at it again, he says, "Oh, hang on. Yeah, no, that's deliberate. He's been getting really riled up in my ear. He's probably actually meant that, I think. Now I see it again."
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas somebody who's not there, you don't know whether they've been getting narky or not. They might have been just making a joke. They might have just been having a laugh with him, and then 2 seconds later stand on him. Well, the chances are, then, if they've just been having a joke, laughing a joke with him, and then they've stood on him, the chances are it is an accident.
Yeah.
Whereas if the two of them have been going at it, hammer and tongs, and then he stands on him, there's a good chance he actually meant it.
Or just get rid of Stockley Park and just have the pitch side monitors.
Yeah, I don't see the problem with that.
That would be the best solution, I think, in the situation. Because highlighting what you said, the referee knows exactly the culture and the atmosphere of the situation and the mechanics of it and the dynamics. And then what you do is he can make that situation based on what he sees on the TV, on the pitch side TV, and get rid of the idiots in Stockley Park because it's not working at the moment.
Yeah, I couldn't argue with that. Getting rid of that, it doesn't seem to help.
Exactly. All right. On that harmonious, let's go on to the Sierra Leone player who said his injury was due to black magic.
Oh yeah, that was. Oh God, yeah, yeah, juju. He said, which obviously means black magic.
Yeah. But there's, I mean, in certain African countries, people believe in it, and it's a belief a steadfast belief that they have.
He plays in Sweden. I'm trying to find his name now. I've lost. Djurgården, that's it. He plays for. It's a Sierra Leone striker, Mohamed Boyatarai, and he said he had a leg injury caused by jealousy because he won the Golden Boot in Sweden this season.
Listen, mate, there's a lot of cultures that believe in a black magic, I think they call it, and the evil eye. Yeah.
Well, I'm superstitious, so I'm not like I can barely. I'm in no position to take the mick, am I? Like, I'm superstitious. What difference does it make if I have the Christmas tree lights on or not? But you asked them if I should switch the Christmas tree lights off because we've been winning while they've been on, and how many people on the site say switch it off? Because at the end of the day, we're all superstitious. It's we all like to think there's more to it than there is, if you see what I mean, when things go wrong.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because you don't want to, maybe you don't want to workman blaming his tools kind of thing.
Yeah, you don't want to accept that it could be your fault. You might have had boots that were too small, so rather than admit that you've tied them too tight, so you've caused yourself a foot problem or something. You look for something else to blame. Because all he had was he had pain in his foot, and the physiotherapist couldn't figure out what it was wrong.
Mate, this is a society problem. We don't take accountability for our actions, so it's a wider thing.
Whereas I take accountability for my actions because I believe that my actions actually cause difficulty for the team, so I do everything I can to try and help the team to success.
Oh, you certainly cause difficulties, mate.
I certainly
make no bones about that. Let's go on to.
Do you know what we never mentioned during the racial? We were talking about the racist abuse. I just realised we never mentioned the Netherlands. What they did in Holland after a player got abused. Remember in the second division, and the top two divisions didn't play for the first minute of one of their matches.
They didn't what?
They didn't play. They just stood still for the first minute. While a message was up on the screens, the scoreboards, like saying racism, then we don't play football. For just a whole minute, they just stood there.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that when we were talking about it earlier.
That is, I like that.
That's one way. Yeah, it's one way to get the message over, at least, that it's not acceptable.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. Maybe there is some light at the end of the tunnel. See, they can't do that at Everton because they wouldn't know the difference. They don't play football anyway.
I thought you were referring to the fact that none of them could read the message on the scoreboard, but there you go.
Oh, right. Unfortunate news, mate. Ron Saunders passing away.
It's a shame for him, Birkenhead. He wasn't the one that led them to the European Cup, but you've got to wonder whether he was gutted about because he left partway through that season. He won them the league, Villa. Sorry, I should point that out. He's a Villa legend, like. He also managed West Brom and Birmingham. Right? He's the only one to have managed all three of them. Bit of rivals, like.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and anyway, he led Villa to the league title. I think he won 2 league cups with them as well. But when they won the European Cup, he left partway through the year. How gutting must that be when you look back on it?
He left on principle, didn't he? Because they wouldn't give him a contract that he wanted. And he was like, "Well, I've just won you the league title. I feel I deserve this contract." And then he left because they couldn't come to an understanding. Who was the Villa manager when they won the cup?
Oh God, I can't remember now. They did. Oh God, I actually heard it on the news when they mentioned he didn't. Today. I can't think who it was now. And I only heard it today as well. That's really annoying. No, I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, it was just really a caretaker one, wasn't it? Was Andy Gray there then?
Did you know who it was?
No, go on.
It was Tony Barton.
Tony Burton? No, I wouldn't have remembered it.
Tony Barton. I just googled
Barton,
it.
yes, that's it.
Who?
Sorry,
I would never have known that. I would never have known that.
I didn't know until they said. I thought it was Ron Saunders. I'd always thought it was Ron Saunders.
No, he left because he couldn't agree a contract.
Yeah, I know that now. Like when I was because when he died, I read up about him. Like obviously, and I didn't. I was like shocked. I assumed it was. I'd always thought it was Ron Saunders who won the European Cup with him. I was so surprised when I found out.
I never knew Ron Saunders managed Villa, West Brom, and
Birmingham.
Was it Birmingham? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, Midlands, a Midlander through and through.
A bit of an excessive fitness nut from what I remember of him.
May he rest in peace. Anyway,
he'd been suffering with dementia apparently for the last few years, which is sad. Because that's a horrible disease. That
it really is. Oh yeah. That's unfortunate. Well, hopefully he's in peace now. Keylor Navas being hit by a projectile.
Yeah, he got that when he was playing for PSG against Olympique Marseille. Those matches are horrible. They're the one of the worst matches in like football. They are really violent rivalry. That is.
So Paris versus Marseille. Basically.
Yeah, sorry, PSG versus Marseille. Yeah, it's one of the worst rivalries in football. I think I wrote about it. Didn't I do an article about it not so long ago? About the rivalries one. I can't remember now. But anyway, yeah, it's really bad, and there's a lot of violence there. It tends to get a bit heated in that because it's like northeast south, but it's in France. Like 50-60%, something like that, of all the money is in Paris. So everywhere else is pretty poor, in particular Marseille. So there tends to be a lot of hatred for Paris among the rest of them. So
it gets... And Marseille is a port city as well.
Yeah, and it's also, not doing well.
Yeah.
It's been going through a lot of problems and that, and it's just always been a really bitter rivalry because, I mean, you got to remember PSG and Nouveau Riche, like, to even more of an extent than Manchester City because they didn't even properly exist until 1970. Yeah. So they're... it always gets a bit violent, but this time it's normally outside, like the fans fighting, but this time they were throwing stuff and a water bottle hit Keylor Navas.
I bet he didn't save it.
No, funnily enough, he didn't. Bless him.
He missed it altogether. Mate, I'm just having a look at the Bundesliga table.
But isn't it Leverkusen top? Mönchengladbach, sorry, yeah.
Mönchengladbach, Leipzig are second with what's his face, the golden boy of German coaching. What's his name? Nagelsmann. Yeah, Dortmund a third, Schalke a fourth, Freiburg a fifth, and Bayern. Bayern a seventh.
I know. Hard to understand why they sacked Kovac, isn't it?
Wow. Nagelsmann's taken them to second. He could very well win the Bundesliga this year, so that was a great move for him.
Was it, though, when you look at it and you think they should be, with the money they've got, when Bayern aren't doing well, you've got to say, for them and Dortmund, this could be a missed opportunity.
They're 6 points above Bayern this season
but what
already.
I'm saying is
And
those two have to look on it. It doesn't matter how well Mönchengladbach or whoever's above them doing. If they're not the ones that are top when Bayern are having a bad year, they've got to look on it as a missed opportunity, surely.
Absolutely. But I would love Mönchengladbach to do it because they're a very, very historical European football side with a lot of...
Yeah, that was who Joey... wasn't that the famous...
Joey Jones?
Yes, the banner in the cup. What was that?
No, that was Saint Etienne.
Yeah, but wasn't it part of it was about Mönchengladbach? What was it?
Maybe, but in 1981 we played them, no?
We've played them a few times. They used to be one of the big teams.
Yeah. They're a very fabled European side, so
they used to
I've
be
got
huge.
a soft spot for them. Yeah, they like sleeping giants, so it'd be wonderful if they actually won it. I mean, I can't even remember the time they won the title, so it'd be great if they won it. Suarez's goal, mate. Did you see the back heel?
No.
Outrageous. He said himself.
Was it as good as Salah's assist?
Yeah.
As good as Firmino's no-look assist?
Yeah.
That good? Well, I'll have to look it up.
I mean, I thought it was better than Son's goal. Yeah, I know that's controversial, but have a quick
Ronaldo running through half the team and across like 3/4 of the length of the pitch, and you think it's better than that? My God, it must be some goal. What did he do? Backheel it in from the halfway line?
Mate, it was from
if he's not from the halfway line, it'd have to be that's an old goal.
Mate, have a look at it quickly.
Oh God.
You're such a
pain in the ass.
Looking at a goal.
Yeah, because I have to Google it, I have to type things, and
you have
it's
to do
Suarez
some work,
backheel goal. Yeah, it's just effort. Suarez and what's it say? Add to fucking language. Add to queue. What the hell has it gone? Why has it gone to a small screen? Oh, bloody YouTube!
Messi! At the first touch, once he took the other one, Antoine was caught in between the devil and the deep blue offside.
De Jong, but by Baba, laid off Roberto. De Jong, back here.
Well, maybe it's not as good as Son's goal, but
no, it's nowhere near as good as. I mean, it's all right. Like, it's a good goal, but it's not like he's not run past 35 players and then put it in the back of the net, has he? He's just a back heel.
Past 18 players. A great back heel.
It's a good goal, but it's not. It's not as special as you were making out. Oh, I'm really disappointed now. It's kind of the effect you have. I mean, your missus says the same things.
At least I'm consistent. I dissipate.
Yeah, everyone.
Exactly. All right, mate. On that positive note,
so you don't want to. That's it. You don't want to do any of the other stuff.
What other stuff? I've been talking to you for about 14 hours today. What other stuff is
it? Feels like longer. We don't want to mention the reason why that the protest in Holland. You didn't hear about it because it was an Excelsior Rotterdam player. Was
1 minute. When I ask you, is there other things you want to talk about?
Yeah, but I thought you had this in there because I mentioned this to you about, and you said you had all this. That when we were talking about the. Anyway, what happened was the Excelsior Rotterdam player Ahmed Mendes Moreira. What he heard was people shouting things like Negro and Cotton Picker at him, and then Bosch, the team he was playing against, claimed that he just misheard the crowd making crow sounds.
What?
Yeah, they said no. That's what they do all the time. They make crow sounds at the opposition to put them off. They said, and then when they came back the next day and said, "Oh, we're sorry. We didn't realise what happened. We thought it was something else. We really were." Yeah, It's not often people confuse Negro and Cotton Picker for crow noise, is it?
It's, mate. I'm honestly, I'm speechless. That the footballing, forget society, that the footballing world accepts crap like this as reasons to racially abuse somebody. I mean, that's not even a justification in La La Land, let alone on planet Earth.
They've messed that up badly. They were assuming he'd heard a few monkey noises or boos, and were hoping they could get away with it. You know what I mean? There was a bit of monkey chant. They thought to get away with this. Or say no, they make crow sounds.
Mate, I honestly, I wake up thinking every day. I'm thinking, right, let's see what a new low football can achieve today. You know, and it doesn't fail me either. I mean, it's just stupid, absolutely stupid. I mean, yesterday was that guy with, like you're saying, at the City game, saying he's putting his hands in his pockets. I mean,
come on.
Some people will believe it. You know, they'll have reasoned arguments for them to say, you know what, he was putting his hands in his pockets.
Yeah, Man City fans will say, no, none of us are racist. Honest.
Just admit to the problem. I'll give you. Just admit to the problem, and let's try and tackle it. Yeah. Instead of these pathetic, excuses, they're just not even worth the printing.
It's ridiculous,
you know?
Isn't it? Oh, what about?
Absolutely.
We haven't even mentioned the Thiago Silva. You know, the PSG's Brazilian defender. Do you know him?
Yeah. No, I don't know Thiago Silva, but go on.
Well, I don't know, because your knowledge of football is, quite shocking, really. But anyway, he was complaining after Brazil got beat by Argentina. He was complaining that Messi was influencing the referee to get favourable decisions, which I'm sure none of us could believe that. I mean, Messi.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's saying a lot of players saying in Spain he does the same thing. And he also had to go at him because he told... You must have seen it. He told Tite to keep quiet, remember?
Oh, yeah. But you've got to understand, so I haven't watched much football. Well, I've watched all the Liverpool games, but I haven't watched much of anything else. So, yeah. But I do remember him having a go at Tite.
Yeah.
And this was in Miami. It was in Miami, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it was Brazil, Spain in Miami.
No, Brazil. Argentina.
Brazil, Argentina.
I don't know where you think. I know Messi plays for Barcelona, but that doesn't make him Spanish, mate.
That's me being prejudiced now.
Well, not saying anything like that, because he'd upset them there, because they'd say they're Catalans. Because remember, Petit's been complaining about they're racist to him. Did you hear that one? When he was in Barcelona, he was only there a year. He'd been complaining they were racist to him because he didn't speak Catalan.
Oh, Emmanuel Petit?
Yeah.
I don't expect him to pick up Catalan.
No, but he got told he was learning Spanish, and they told him not to learn Spanish. He's got to learn Catalan.
Catalan, right?
And he reckons they were being racist to him while he was there as well because he wasn't from Catalan,
Well, you've got a knowledge of Spain as well. I mean, are they
not really Catalan, but yeah, that's my mum and dad lived in Andalusia. It was a bit different, but they speak Andalus there. They don't really. They speak it. They just speak it a bit differently rather than Spanish. It's still virtually Spanish, slightly different. I mean, they don't say Cadiz. Cadiz. They say Cardiff.
Okay, gotcha.
That's true. When my mum and dad first I must have told you this story. They thought they were getting a coach trip because me dad's family, a lot of them live in Cardiff, and they thought they were getting a coach trip to Cardiff. Coach trip.
€7.
Yeah, this would be a nice day trip. Go and see the family, and then they got to Cadiz, and they're like, oh, "What the hell? This isn't Cardiff." But yeah, they just pronounce it wrong.
That's hilarious. What's next on the agenda, fella?
Dixon Atuhu, his match fixing. He got found guilty of match fixing, and both him his defence attorneys and that, and the prosecution said they're going to appeal because they didn't think the prosecution don't think his sentence was tough enough, and he's appealing because he doesn't think he should be found guilty.
Bloody hell! That's
You remember him? He used to play for Man City, Sunderland, Preston, Fulham. Apparently, he tried to influence a Swedish goalkeeper. It was initially acquitted, then found guilty on appeal, and now they want to fight it. They want a longer sentence. They think he's got off too lightly.
What was the sentence?
I'm trying to see what it was. I'm trying to find it now.
God, so much has happened in the last 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's why I've missed that bit off when I've copied it, because I've just grabbed a few, copied and pasted a few things in to talk about, and I've lost that bit. I've missed that bit off it. Freaking hell, idiot! It doesn't really matter anyway. They're just appealing for a longer one.
I'm just taken aback that you've done some research.
Well, you know how it is. I like to do my research, you know that.
Yeah. You're my first pod back. Look at me. You're like.
I had to be prepared. There was so much happening. I thought we're never going to remember it all. What about Benteke? You must have remembered him he's been caught again speeding. Hard to believe he was speeding. I know. Of all the people in the world you would have thought get caught speeding, Christian Benteke wouldn't have been number one. But he was his crime is standing still and not speeding. Exactly. But twice he got caught at driving fast, too fast, and it's not the first time either. It's many a time. But he was pulled over. He was doing more than 80 mile an hour in London. First off, in a 50 zone, he was doing 80 mile an hour. He was clocked. Then a couple of months later, on the same stretch of road, but in a 40 mile per hour zone, he was caught at 89 mile an hour. And then in a 30 mile per hour zone, a couple of months later, he was caught doing 64. And he already had 9 points on his licence.
Mate, I cannot understand how Christian Benteke is on 100. I don't get it. I mean, he hasn't scored ever in the last... I don't know how many appearances it is for. Let me Google that. When's the last time Christian Benteke scored? Google says 1978.
Yeah, it was just before he signed for us, I think. It was the last time he scored, wasn't it? What he needs is Tino Asprilla to set him up with a bird he knows. He'll be all right then. Maybe Roy Hodgson could set him up with one of his mates. It's all right. Just when she takes her cardigan off, he's going to have to be ready to catch.
Things are going to go south very quickly.
They'll be tucked into her socks. Don't worry about it.
Bloomers. Oh God! Let's carry on, mate. Come, change the subject. I got visuals. Change. Carry on. Please.
I don't know. Should we mention Thierry Henry's back in football? Head coach Montreal Impact. David Veer's retiring. I'm trying to change the subject. Oh, Danny Rose, that's a good one. But he said, we were talking about how bad he was earlier. Stop laughing. Oh, God, you've corpsed. Oh, great. Oh, God, now we're going to have an hour of you laughing. There's all we're going to have.
Carry on.
I was just going to say, what about... We were talking about how crap Danny Rose is earlier. Yeah. Well, he even admitted it himself. He said the club were trying to get rid of him all summer, but nobody wanted him.
Mate, I can't anymore. I just can't.
Should we just call it there? Because you're not going to stop laughing. There's nothing much you
Roy
want.
Hodgson. Roy Hodgson's mate. God, that is so funny. Roy Hodgson's mate. Mate, I've got to go.
Yeah, we'll have to stop.
I can't. Oh, stop, mate. Stop.
Oh, bless you. Right, we're just going to call it there. See you next Thursday, yeah?
See you next Thursday, mate.
Bye.